And as a woman, as an activist, I've always been an activist, defending the rights of women and all that. I decided to go and read law so that I'll be equipped to defend those rights. So my practice was practically pro bono most of the time, you know. Before I diverted and went into politics again because of the women. And when I saw the way women are being treated in politics, I thought that, and knowing that that is where decisions are taken,
yes,
that's where policies are being made and all that, I thought the best way to do it is to be inside the house, at the table, where these decisions are being taken, where the discussions are going on.
Okay. Currently, you're the chairperson of the Women Interest Group Forum of the African Bar Association, AFBA. What has humanity gained from this?
The African Bar Association is the voice, in fact, the fearless voice of the legal profession in the continent of Africa. And every country almost every country in Africa has signed on as members of the African Bar Association. And you know that the legal profession, especially at the top level, is mainly men at that top level. So we needed to have a women interest group where the female lawyers can come and discuss their own interests. There are interests that are peculiar to women. There are issues that are peculiar to women. So the men may not talk about that. If you are talking about gender-based violence, sexual abuse, you're talking about
genital mutilation.
Genital mutilation. You're talking about children not going out of school, girls and all that. It will not be on the front burner for the men. So, and that's the interest of women.
Now, you're founder and chairperson also of Alzheimer's Disease Foundation. Why this? What's your interest?
Again, it was born out of experience, out of personal experience. Before I founded the Alzheimer's Disease Foundation, I had no idea of what Alzheimer's was all about. In fact, I had never heard of it. I've heard about dementia, but it's only very old people that I see, and you will hear that the person has senile dementia. So I associated it with old age, and I didn't know what it was until my younger brother, very young man, had dementia. And it was diagnosed that it was of the Alzheimer's kind of dementia.
Wow.
So my interest was
aroused in
that area. So I went in to study everything I could about Alzheimer's and dementia. And then, of course, I saw him go through the journey of Alzheimer's. And some people like the Alzheimer's Disease International, for instance, will describe it as the long goodbye. Because from the time the person is known
to have
it, it's a downward trend. The person just starts going, and you're watching your loved one slipping away
from you,
going away. And it can last for 10 years, it can last for 15 years, but it's just going. So that's why it's described as a long goodbye. For now, there is no cure for it. So once the person has Alzheimer's, is to help the person to still live in a dignified way. They may not be aware of their physical environment or
Yes.
their condition. They may not be aware. We don't even know whether they are not aware, but on our human level,
Yes.
we say they are not
think that
aware. I
way.
have a friend in the area, in the field, who says that they are on a different level, that they've gone to a higher level. So in that higher level, they live their own world, and that is why you see them having things like hallucinations and all that, because they are seeing things you're not seeing. They are living in another world that you are not, totally in another world that you are not part of. But we just help them to manage, because they can no longer do some of the things
They used to do.
they used to do. Yeah.
Okay. Let's now move on to you being an equal opportunity and gender activist. I know that maybe that's why you're a propelling force in the issue of women. You are the founder and president general of Nkatandi Nyum Igbo Group. You founded this for a reason. Let's start with that. Why was it established? When
Yeah.
was it established? How long has it been?
It was established 3 years ago, at the height of the COVID lockdown. And so it was just telephones and Zooms we had to be, discussing with friends, one another and family. So then we had enough time. Running around was reduced. Traveling up and down was reduced. So we had enough time to sit and reflect on the journey so far. What are we seeing ahead of us? Why are we not hearing the voices of women? Why are women not talking about it? Because from 6 a.m. to 6 a.m. on all the television channels, there are discussions. And all the discussants, most of the time, are women on topical issues, on matters, extant matters that are, burning issues in the society. And you don't see any woman on television or even on radio, talking. I say, where are the women? Where is their voice? Why can't they speak up? And do we have women? Of course we do. Because in every profession, you will find our women excelling. But we are just there in our little corners, being the best at what we do. And
being seen and not heard.
Yeah, and not heard. And not, making any comments on social issues, the things that concern everybody. So I said, no, let's find ourselves. And let's find it's about time, and let's try and have a voice. We don't have to wait to be invited to come to the discussion table.
Does it mean that in the past there are no groups, that has to do with women?
Yes, there are groups that do have to do with women, and I have led so many groups, and I've also founded many groups of women. I've had the Women Foundation of Nigeria to empower women, but our scope or our vision was different. It was women groups for women groups to fight for the rights of women, like I've been doing all my life, women groups to find how to empower them. This group is a group that is made up of professional, accomplished women in every area of life. Nkatandi Nyum Igbo is another organization that is different from other women organizations. In our structure, we have board of trustees. Then we have board of advisors. Our board of advisors is only men. We are partnering with government, with leaders, with churches, so if anything that has to do with the development of this country, any people, anybody, any organ, any institution that is in charge, we are offering our services. We are saying we are here. and there is nothing you are doing that we cannot enhance and make it better. Because we are bringing our expertise, we are bringing our own perspectives, we are bringing our knowledge, our experiences to the table. And we need to be on that discussion table. And the women have been the people that have held this country together. They have been the foundation of this country, the bulwark of this country. But on song, nobody talks about it. But the work the women are doing, even that we are still surviving as a country, is the women.
Now, how can the women ensure that their voice is heard? That's really what I asked before. Now you have tried to clarify, at least when they now invite, they will invite Nkatandi Inyom Igbo as a group, so that when you get there, you'll be a force to reckon with. Your voice will be heard. Now you have a conference coming up. What exactly is it that you are trying to do concerning this conference? What are the things you're putting in place? What date is it coming up?
The theme of our conference is women. What is the role of women? We are a force to be reckoned with in the area of peace and security. And this conference is not just for women only. That's why I said it's a conversation. You don't talk to yourself, it becomes a monologue. So we have invited men. We also have men speakers. On the first day, which is the 24th of October, we are going to have a keynote speaker who is a woman, and her name is Enugu, a seasoned female activist and a development expert. On the 25th, we are going to have Chidi Odinkalu, Professor Chidi Odinkalu, as our keynote speaker. He is also an activist and human rights activist, well known all over the world. Then we have various other speakers speaking on different things, on education, women education, on political empowerment or inclusion. We have a youth speaker. We have young people on the panel who are going to, because we're going to have panel discussions. On the 25th, mainly.
The second day and final day.
On the second day and final day, we are going to have what I call a grassroots dialogue. On that day, it's not just the big names like the Okonjo-Iwealas and the Ezekwesilis who are speaking. They are speaking at our conference. We will hear their voice, but then we will now hear the voice of ordinary women, their voices, because we know that they have a lot of them, and they have perspectives, and they have ideas that we will now call together. We will now harvest all together and package as the outcome of that conference.
I will go for a short break. We'll return. Don't touch the dial. Welcome back. My guest is still here talking about Iyom Josephine Anini, a former Minister of Women Affairs and Social Development in Nigeria. Now, why do you believe that women are the ones that are peace bridgers? Why do you think they have such quality, really, to keep bridging this gap across ethnic, be it religious or political lines?
Because God made us that way. And yeah, and in Nigeria, we have found that our women intermarry. You will find a Hausa woman marrying an Igbo man, an Igbo woman marrying a Hausa man, a Yoruba woman marrying an Igbo. You know, all over. I can be personal. You talk of Emeka Anyoku, marry Yoruba woman. You talk of Tony Aneni, marry Igbo woman. You know?
Yes.
And so many like that across the ethnicities, across religious divides. So on that personal level, we have been doing it. We have been keeping ourselves, our nation sewn together. We are the thread binding everybody because we are all related. Like I said, our efforts, our activities, our contributions, our song. Nobody talks about it. So we now say we have a voice. We're going to be saying what we do. And like I started telling women
Yes.
in NCWS, because I'm a life member of NCWS. I tell them, I said, if you keep your trumpet on the ground, it will get rusted. Somebody walking by the side will pick it up and start blowing it as their trumpet. So women, pick up your trumpet and blow it.
But is there a way that you mentor younger ones who will take over? Because at this stage,
Nkatandi is an intergenerational organization. Intergenerational organization. When we were conceiving it, like if I want to tell you the story of it, what is that grandmothers, my generation, and the generation a little bit older than me, we had a discussion. And then we saw our daughters. Now, we saw our granddaughters. We examined where they were going. And we asked ourselves, is it the way to go? Is it right? So we said, well, maybe it's our fault. Because I know that our mothers transmitted values and culture to us. And, norms to us. And then, during our time, maybe we told our daughters. Maybe we did not. And if we did not tell them, they cannot tell our granddaughters. Because you cannot pass on what you don't have. You can't give what you don't have.
Exactly.
So we sat down and said that we must be intentional now and get it right before it becomes too late.
What is the most challenging thing now for you people, even as you're trying to organize this conference? What's the most challenging thing you're facing?
The most challenging thing we face is insecurity. Insecurity makes people not able to move around as they would have wished to do. So this year we said we must make a statement. We must hold a physical conference. So this year's conference is hybrid. They are still on Zoom for those who don't have the courage to come out.
What for you has been some of the qualities that have helped you to succeed? Share a few with us.
One, my mother, her slogan is Ezioku Bondo. Ezioku Bondo is integrity. That is the bastion of society. That what makes you who you are.
Yes.
Then she taught me to be content. If you were juga for contentment. Those are values and ethics that makes a man or a woman who they are. Stop looking over the fence at the other man's and then you'll be killing yourself that the grass is greener there. It's not true. The grass is the same everywhere. If there is harmattan, it will be. If you want it to be green, buy a milli. Water it.
Now talking
water
about hard work.
Hard work. Hard work. And nothing is too mean. There is dignity in labor. There's nothing is too below you to do, as long as it is honest work. Honest work. So we must try to learn dignity in labor. You find that a lot of people, you give them a job, they will say, how much is it, Seth? They won't do it. And they won't do it, and they don't have another job to do.
To do.
So they are unemployed, they are idle, Then they will now start thinking of who to cheat, or who to steal from, or who to dupe. So that is what breeds all the negative, evil things that we see prevailing at this time in the society. So I would enjoin younger people, both men and women, to stand by these values, to imbibe these values: hard work, honesty, contentment.
Thank you, Iyom. It's been a pleasure speaking with my guest today, talking about Iyom Josephine Anini, a former Minister of Women Affairs and Social Development in Nigeria. It's been a beautiful discussion concerning Nkata Ndi Inyom Igbo. Thank you so much. And she says, for the younger generation, imbibe integrity, contentment, and honesty. It is key if you really want to succeed in life. I've been your host, Jane Maduabuna. Let's do this again next week. Until then, God bless Nigeria. Bye-bye.
We are off to the health center. It's nearly 12 kilometers, but distance is no factor. Some days are harder than others. If it rains, this stream is flooded.